Now a look at tonight's top stories. A North State teenager is hospitalized at UC Davis Medical Center fighting complications from swine flu. Her mother says 14-year-old Jackie Deary is not expected to be released from the hospital until after Thanksgiving. She says her daughter is urging parents to get their children vaccinated against the H1N1 virus, saying it's not worth the risk.
The beating of a Willows 7th grader caught on tape. Police say the attack took place last Friday at Willows Intermediate School. The female victim attacked by two girls, while a third girl recorded the incident on her camera. Police have confiscated the camera as evidence and will not release the recording. The victim suffered minor injuries and is recovering. School officials say they are taking a close look at their disciplinary procedures.
The Children's Community Charter School in Paradise is considering breaking off its relationship with the Paradise Unified School District. That would give the school complete control of its more than $1 million annual budget. Tenured teachers are threatening to quit, worried that they'll face pay and benefit reductions. A meeting on the matter is tonight at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on Billy Road in Paradise. It starts at 6:30.
Tough times ahead at Shasta College in Reading. The community college there is cutting about 10% of its courses because of a major budget gap.
Action News reporter Elizabeth Gadley spoke with administrators and students to find out what kind of impact this will have.
It's about to get a whole lot harder for students at Shasta College to get the classes they need. The school is facing a $1 million budget deficit and is being forced to cut some 280 courses and course sections to make up for it.
Community colleges get their funding from the state of California, and that's where the shortfall begins. They're not able to fund this for all of the students that we have coming to us right now.
Student Ray Salazar says he's only taking 2 classes this semester because he couldn't get the ones he needed.
I've been waitlisted for my English 190 class, which I unfortunately couldn't get in. And I tried a couple others, but I couldn't get in there either.
With fewer classes being offered in the spring and a recent surge in enrollment, the problem's only going to get worse.
The seats are not going to be available. We're not going to be able to serve as many students as we need to. That's the bottom line.
This is the second time these types of cuts have had to be made, and if the current fiscal crisis continues, more could be on the way. Shasta College isn't the only community college feeling the pinch. The problem is statewide.
I just did a department survey of other English departments across the state, and I have to say that our English department is hanging in there and that our administration is doing as good a job as possible.
Some have noticed that despite budget woes, the school has been getting a bit of a facelift. Administrators want students to know that that money isn't coming from the general fund.
Those are designated funds. We are not allowed to divert them into salaries or expenses for classes.
The school says it doesn't expect these problems to go away anytime soon, but administrators hope to eventually bring back some of these classes. But they admit it could be a few years before anything like that happens. In Reading, I'm Elizabeth Gadley, Action News.
There is no word on what specific courses are being cut, but the college says it will strive to keep its core transfer, degree, and technical courses. The school has also been working on other ways to trim the budget without cutting staff. A new poll shows Californians are worried about higher education funding cuts. They fear qualified people won't get into college. The Public Policy Institute of California survey finds half of parents with children 18 or under are very worried about being able to afford a college education for their children. 65% think it's harder now than 10 years ago to get a college degree, and 68% say qualified people don't have an opportunity to go to college.
Gridley police say a shooting in a quiet residential neighborhood maybe was gang-related. It happened at 4:20 yesterday afternoon on the 400 block of Idaho Street. The police chief there tells Action News that 2 groups of men had an altercation at a nearby mini-mart, and just a few minutes later, a gunman in one car fired shots into the other. One person was grazed by a bullet but did not need any treatment. The police chief says the victims are right now not being cooperative. He says there were a total of 9 people involved, all Hispanic. The suspect's vehicle is described as a green, older model Toyota Camry.
In other news tonight, Siskiyou County firefighters are working to determine the cause of a deadly house fire near Hamburg. Siskiyou County Sheriff's deputies found a badly burned body while searching through the rubble of a house fire on Highway 96 yesterday. Deputies believe that body belongs to a 72-year-old man who lived in the home, but say DNA testing will be necessary to confirm that. The Paradise Town Council approves changes to its fire department. The Town Council has put its support behind a new transition plan proposed that will save the city over $100,000 over the next 2 years. Under the plan, fire personnel would be moved around to increase safety and efficiency. Some of the approved changes include putting a third firefighter on each engine and downstaffing Station 2. While the downstaffing means there will be fewer people at Station 2, the chief says it will not close. It will be used during red flag warnings and other situations the chief deems necessary. The transition is already underway, but the chief says the personnel changes will not take place until next spring.
In an effort to reach his North State constituents, State Senator Sam Anistad is holding a town hall meeting in Chico tonight. Anistad will team up with Senator George Runner of Antelope Valley to discuss two big issues, the state budget crisis and the threat of releasing state prisoners. A panel of federal judges ruled that the prison's living standards are unconstitutional. The state's options are to build new prisons or release more than 47,000 inmates. Anistad wants to hear from the voters and share his opinions on the state of the legislature.
This legislature, I think, made a mistake in doing a $12 billion tax hike, a huge tax hike. They didn't cut enough, and now we hear from the administration that as of today, when we get back in January, it's going to be $14 to $17 billion in the red again.
The meeting is open to the public. It starts at 7 o'clock at the Chico City Council Chambers.
The holiday season is upon us, and right now thousands of canned goods are being collected in our community to help the less fortunate. 200 students at Chico State, along with children from 5 elementary schools and 1 junior high, are asking for donations for Chico's Jesus Center. The Harvest Food Drive runs through Saturday. The coordinator says donations are needed now more than ever.
With the state of the economy now, we see more people than ever coming to the Jesus Center and asking for food to eat there as well as to take home. And so it's harder for people to give, but it's also harder for people to get, which makes it even more important.
You can drop off non-perishable food items at the Jesus Center anytime or during a special drive-through event this Saturday from 10 till 2. There are a few other ways to donate. Tomorrow night, the NorCal Roller Girls are holding a bout with a theme, We'll Skate for Food at Cal Skate. Bring 6 cans and get half off admission. And on Saturday, $5 will get you an all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast at Trinity United Methodist Church between 9 and noon.
AAA and J&L Towing are getting into the holiday spirit, too. They helped kick off a Reading Rescue Mission's holiday turkey drive by donating 40 frozen birds. While the Good News Rescue Mission is thrilled at the generous donation, they still have a long way to go. They hope to collect 1,200 turkeys that will be given to needy families this holiday season. AAA is also calling on members of the community to help whatever way they can.
It's really neat to be able to be involved and to do things that help support and give back to our community. It's been very good to us.
The mission says it has already received calls or emails from nearly 24 different businesses and civic groups who've signed up to help collect things like food, clothing, and toys.